Okay, it is 10. Welcome everybody to the class today, Spoonie Yoga. So we're gonna get started seated on the mat, if that is possible for you. You can also sit in a chair. You could sit on the floor or on a mat with some pillows underneath you. Sometimes that really helps people to get down on the floor. You don't have to sit in easy pose like I am. You can also just sit with the legs out in front of you. Just find a comfortable seated position of some sort as we get started today. Today's class, we're going to be talking about posture and how poor alignment and poor posture can lead to pain in various parts of the body, and how important it is to try to focus on remaining in alignment of the spine as you move through the day. You know, that's especially hard when you are dealing with any kind of chronic pain. For years, when my RA was active, I would hunch forward and I would hold my hands because they hurt so badly. And I was causing myself all kinds of additional problems because my body was having to, all the muscles were having to work so hard to support my body because I was out of alignment. When you're in alignment, your body is able to function more normally and not overstressed to try to hold you up properly, if that makes sense. So there are many other benefits of proper alignment. We'll talk about them as we move through class. So find your comfortable seated position and start to connect with that pranayama breathing that is the core of your practice. And this is that deep belly breathing, where on each inhale you fill the belly up like a balloon. And then on each slow exhale, bringing the belly button in toward the spine, emptying out this whole area, emptying the lungs, and then coming back out again. So close your eyes for a few minutes as you begin and start to come inward and fully onto your mat and take some of these deep breaths, slowing down, letting go of any to-do lists or anxieties and worries, all of this stuff that keeps us on that hamster wheel in our heads, right? Finding some time to just be present and still is just as important when you're on the mat as any pose that you could do. So in that comfortable seated position, ground your sit bones down, lengthen your spine, find that beautiful length from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. Relax your shoulders and bring them back and down. We talked about this last week, the scapular pocket, where you bring your shoulder blades together and down where they're meant to sit. Find a relaxing place for your hands. And just breathe. It's all you need to do in this moment is just breathe and be present. You're exactly where you need to be. And you should pat yourself on the back for a moment, just knowing that you're doing this to nourish yourself today. Remembering that yoga should never hurt. Anything hurts, just stop, pull back, pause, whatever you need to do. And also that even if you're just doing the breathing exercises, you are getting benefit from this class. Just sitting where you are, breathing deeply, and being present is so good for your nervous system and your overall health. Maybe taking a couple of exhales through the mouth, releasing even more tension. Try to notice the effect that that big exhale through the mouth has on your body. I feel it, especially in my shoulders. They just soften. Good. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more centered already. So let's start with a neck stretch. And I want you to look all the way to the right, turning your head. Inhale as you come back to center, and exhale as you look way over that left shoulder. And again, pairing it with your breath. One more. And then coming back to center. We're going to look all the way up and all the way down. Bringing the chin up as you inhale. And exhale, coming down with the chin toward the chest. And once more. And exhaling down. And coming back to center. We're going to take a side stretch. So reaching the right hand out to the side, supporting yourself on that right hand. I want you to bring the left hand up overhead. You may not even come very far. Just find a stretch all along that left side body, the arm, the muscle, the obliques here. Just want to find that stretch, find that point of resistance, and relax into it on each exhale a little further. You may find yourself coming all the way down to the elbow, or you may only come an inch, wherever is right for you. Try to soften a little bit more on each deep, slow exhale. Grounding both sit bones down into the mat. So you're not coming up like this. You want to press those down into the mat and lengthen all along the left side body. One more breath. And on your inhale, come up. Good. Let's take a couple of shoulder rolls here toward the back. Reaching up towards the ears, down. Hopefully yours don't crunch like mine do. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Ah, good. And then bring the left hand out to the side, and we'll take a stretch on the opposite side. Reaching up overhead as you inhale, and exhaling as you come into the stretch. Again, grounding down through the sit bones, reaching through those fingertips. One more breath. And inhale, coming back up to center. And a couple more shoulder rolls, this time forward. Reaching up and forward and down and back. Good. And then coming back. Now, we're going to do an exercise that's really more of a PT exercise than a yoga exercise. It's called scapular depression. And you can just rest your hands on your knees. And what we're going to do is bring our shoulder blades together in the back. And this is an effort to strengthen the scapular muscles and to make you aware of those muscle groups, because if they're very weak, it leads to all kinds of overall problems with the spine. And anybody that works at a computer, things like that, does a lot of driving, they get especially weak. But if you are dealing with any kind of rheumatic illness, something like that, mine were so weak for years. Yoga really helped me change that. And they are primary with posture, right? So what we're going to do is you're just going to bring the shoulders down and back and then squeeze them together. You don't want to arch the chest or anything like that. Keep your spine in alignment, and on an inhale, bring them together. Imagine the right one going down towards your left back pocket and the left one going down towards the right back pocket. You can imagine that. Take a breath here and release. So we're going to do it again, and I want us to hold for 3 breaths, okay? Let's try this again. Make sure your shoulders are down before we even begin, and then squeeze them together. Bringing them down and back. Hold for 3 breaths. Trying to bring your awareness to that group of muscles. You may only be able to hold for 1 breath or 2 breaths. That's okay. Try to hold for 3. And then release. Good. Shake it out if you need to. All right. Now, I want you to interlace the fingers and push them out in front of you. This may be hard for some people. Do what you can. Really reach out with them, and then arch the back like you do with cat-cow. Just stretching. And then bring the arms up overhead, palm tree arms. And inhale, reach up, and exhale, come over to the right gently. Stretching through the arm and shoulder, a little bit of that left side again. Inhale back to center, and come over to the opposite side. And inhale up to center, and bring them down. Maybe rotate the wrists a couple of times in each direction. Giving them a little love, and then clasp the hands behind you and bring the shoulders way down and back. Maybe reach to the left and the right, stretching it out a little bit. You should feel it up here and these muscles that lead up to the neck, the sternocleidomastoids and the scalenes, right? Should feel good. Just give it a little bit. There you go. Marvelous. And release again. Now, we're going to bring the legs out in front of us. So, if you're in a chair, you can't really do staff pose. But you can do the fold that we're going to do and just fold over your legs. So, find yourself in Dandasana or stack pose. Ground the sit bones firmly down into the mat. Lengthen through the spine. Try not to lock the knees here, but the legs are active. Inhale, reaching up overhead and then gently come into a fold. And you don't want to arch the back here. Keep that length. You may only go an inch. It's fine. Activate the legs. Find a place for your hands somewhere along the legs. And keep that maximum length in the spine. Just take slow, deep breaths. You're an angle here, right? Just coming this way, not this way. Does that make sense? This way, not this way. Imagine there's that lovely ribbon tied to the crown of your head, and someone is gently pulling the crown of your head so that you're getting that length from the tailbone and out through that crown. Notice where you're feeling that resistance. And on each exhale, imagine softening through that area, opening up, releasing, creating more space. One more deep, slow breath here. And then roll it back up. Good. We're going to bring the right knee in. Hugging it in tightly. You may just want to stay here if this is challenging in itself. It's available to you. Take that left arm and wrap it around the knee and come into a twist, looking over the right shoulder. If you are in a chair, you can join in on the twist. You can actually use the sides of your chair or the back of your chair to gently guide you into the twist. If you're on the mat, use your right arm to support your spine behind you and lift through the top of the head. As you twist and look over that right shoulder, pressing down through the hip bones, leg is active on the floor, flex that left foot, pressing down, staying with those deep, slow breaths. And then release back to center. Great. Straighten those out, shake them if you need to, and pull the opposite leg in if you're on the mat. Hug it in tightly, then bring that right arm around. Take the left arm behind you, supporting your spine as you lift and twist, looking over the left shoulder. Flex that left leg, pressing hips and leg down into the mat as you lift and turn. Breathing is constricted, but stay with the breath. This is a modified version of Marichi's twist or Marichi asana. One more breath. And turn back to center. And let both legs out. Shake them out if you need to. Good. All right, now we are going to make our way over onto hands and knees for cat-cow. If you were in a chair, you can do cat-cow seated. What we're doing is undulating the spine. So if you're in a chair, you arch the back, looking up towards the sky on an inhale. And exhale the opposite way. Bringing the chin down towards the chest. Arching the back up like the cat. We're going to do 5 more of these at your own breath pace. Slow undulation of the spine. Always inhaling as you look up and bring the belly forward. And exhaling as you cave in. And when you've completed them, you're going to come back to center in table. Now, I'm going to demonstrate tiger pause. And this, if you're on the mat, this is easier, but you can still do this if you're in a chair here. So, tiger pause is so great for the wrists and hands. And what you do is, from table, we'll start with the left hand, and you turn it around where the fingertips face that left knee. And you put your weight into it as best you can, and then shift your hips slightly backward until you stretch that tendon in the forearm and your wrist. Okay? If it's excruciating, don't do it. Just test yourself. It's really great if you've had any kind of arthritic damage or you have arthritis problems. So just hold for a couple of breaths, each hand turning it backwards and then returning it in alignment with the other hand. Continue to do that paired with your breath. If you're in a chair, you can do it this way where you pull your fingertips back. You can also do it underneath like so, which is even more of a stretch. So reaching out, turning them backwards, and gently pulling on those fingers, stretching the hand and the forearm, okay? Just continue to what's the word I'm looking for? Exchange. Replace one and then place one and then the other interchangeably. Holding for one breath.
Alternate.
Alternate. That's the word. So, so funny. Sometimes the words don't come. It's really, I don't know if it's the medications or what it is, but that's why I keep a list. I used to teach classes and memorize all the poses. Now I keep a list nearby just in case. I'm also getting old. 50s, getting to me. It's all right. Okay, now, coming back to center, we are going to move into puppy. So I'm gonna adjust myself back a little bit. You want to walk your hands out to the end of the mat, and then bring the chest down toward the mat. And again, you may not come very far, but keep the hips above the knees and bring the chest down towards the mat, stretching under the arms. If you are in a chair, you can do an overhead arm stretch here, reaching up, grabbing your opposite elbow, and that approximates the stretch. If your head comes all the way down between your elbows, you can rest your forehead or your chin on the mat. One more breath. Good. And then coming back up, walk the hands back in, coming back to table. Now, we're going to do what's called thread the needle here. And first time you do this pose, it's kind of tricky, but once you do it, you're like, oh, so great for the shoulders. You're in a chair, continue with shoulder stretches and over, arm stretches overhead. So right hand threads underneath the left shoulder, underneath the left arm, like so. And you're going to bring the shoulder and the side of your face, that right ear, all the way down to the mat. So coming down like so. Bring the right ear. Left hand is just fingers spread wide, helping you to support yourself here. It's a great shoulder stretch. Should feel kind of good. If you found that stretch there and feel like you're getting the benefit of it, you can additionally walk the fingertips of the left hand out to the end of the mat, and you get a bonus stretch into the other arm. If you've stretched that left hand out, bring it back by the face. Spreading those fingers wide, we're going to shift our weight into that left palm to push back up to tabletop. So on your next inhale, shift your weight, coming back to table, and we'll change to the other side. This time, taking the left hand, threading it underneath the right, bringing that left shoulder all the way down and the left ear all the way down to the mat. Just shift around. Sometimes you have to shift your hips here to find that stretch in the shoulder. Just as needed, find that stretch. Breathe deeply. You want to walk the fingertips out, you can do that, of course. One more deep breath on the side. Bring the fingertips back in. Put your weight into that right palm and shift back to cat-cow once more. Great. Let's just take a couple of hip circles here. Bringing the hips way out to the side, back and forward. Inhaling as you come towards your hands. After you've done 2 in one direction, shift. Go the opposite way. All right. Good stuff. Now, we're going to try a plank, and I want you to just do what you can with this today. You may keep the knees down, you may come down to the elbows, all kinds of options here. But if you can hold a plank for a breath or 2, it's so great for your upper body. We're going to come down onto our bellies for cobra, but on the way, I'd like us to do a plank. Full plank is like so, we all know, with our heels reaching toward the back of the mat. Or you can bring the knees down, or you can come down onto the elbows and have a plank, okay? Just try to test yourself a little bit, building that upper body strength. Working on the back and the posture today, right? So good for us. Be in alignment. That is true on multiple levels. All right, when you're ready, come all the way down onto the belly. Make a little pillow by stacking your palms. Rest your forehead on the pillow. We are going to get ready for cobra. Take a deep, slow breath here, resting. Maybe you just want to stay here and rest. That is fine. For cobra, I want you to remember that your cobra tail is supremely important. What's happening with your legs is just as important as what's happening with your upper body in this pose. So, with the tail, you're going to be pressing the tops of your feet and the legs down into the mat and actively pressing the legs into one another, right? Also pressing the hips down into the mat. So just try to activate that area for a minute before we even get started. Feel the power of just pressing the hips and the legs and the tops of the feet down into the mat like that. And what it does to shift your spine, okay? Good. We're gonna bring the hands under the shoulders, fingers spread wide, elbows in very tightly to the waist. They should hug the waist throughout the pose. And you don't want to use arm strength, you want to use the muscles of the upper back here. So, forehead resting down, elbows in, activate that cobra tail, and then inhale and lift up, reaching through the crown of the head away from the tailbone, shoulders down away from the ears. Not using your arm strength, wiggle those fingers, make sure. Breathe. Just hold for a couple of breaths if that's available to you. On your next exhale, come back down, make a pillow, rest your forehead. Know that you're halfway through your yoga class. You've made it this far. We're going to come up again into cobra. That works for you. So bring the hands back, elbows in tight, forehead down. Activate that tail fully, right? And then lift up on your inhale. Shoulders back and down. Lengthening the spine, breathing, even though it's constricted, deep into the belly. And on your next exhale, come back down and rest the forehead. Just take 2 breaths here. Okay, from here we are going to make our way back to standing. You can just do that however works for you, or you can join me in coming through downward facing dog, which would mean tucking the toes and coming up to one last down dog. So that's our first down dog, actually. And then walking the hands, the feet between the hands. And bending the knees and rolling up to standing in mountain pose. Adjust the camera so that you can see me stand. Okay. And mountain pose, Tadasana. It's so important, and people think, well, you're just standing there. It is so much more than just standing there, and it's actually a difficult pose to master. So find that perfect alignment of your feet. I like about hip width apart. Some people like their feet touching. You are going to be pressing your feet down into the floor, lifting the energy up towards your torso, right? Very gentle tuck to the pelvis. Feel how that lengthens the spine when you do that. Shoulders back and down. Arms relaxed, head lifting. So, finding that place. Close your eyes. I want you to really feel this pose today. I want you to think about your postural alignment. We are retraining our brains to stay in this position each time we come into Tadasana. So, breathing into the belly, pressing the feet down into the mat, leg muscles activated, pulling up, shoulders back and down, lifting through the top of the head. Make sure that your chin, a lot of people bring their chin really far forward and misalign their neck. You want to be sure that the crown of your head is directly over your tailbone. The shoulders are directly over the hips, okay? So standing in this pose, feeling, anchoring, breathing deeply. This is how we're meant to move through the world. Take one more breath here. Good. Then I want you to, again, interlace your fingers and bring the arms out in front of you and arch the whole body back, bringing the head forward as you exhale. And then inhale, bringing it in and up overhead. You know, you can't see my fingertips, but it's okay. Reaching up in palm tree, pressing the feet down into the floor and lifting through the hands. Gaze can be slightly up. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale, reaching up a little more and coming over to the right as we did seated. Inhale back to center. Lift and exhale, come over to the left. And inhale back to center. Good. Release the hands down and then clasp them behind you, interlacing the fingers, and bring the shoulders way down away from the ears, reaching back with your palms, right? Feeling the chest open, shoulders back and down, lifting through the top of the head. And then lift the gaze and reach back a little further. And exhale, release. Good. Shake it out if you need to. Once more, I want you to come into palm tree. So interlace your fingers and inhale your arms up overhead. Then we're going to come challenge ourselves a little tiptoe balance here. And you may not even be able to come up very long. That's okay. We just always want to try to balance. In each yoga class, this is great for the ankles and the calf muscles, gastrocnemius. Do what you can, and then come back to center with your hands in prayer position. We're going to do a couple of half sun salutations. I'll turn sideways for this one. And today we're going to incorporate an upward salute, which means you bring your hands together in prayer, up overhead, following your hands with your gaze, and you have a gentle back bend, pushing the hips forward. So, find your mountain pose. And on an inhale, reach up overhead, looking upward. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up with your hands just beneath the knees, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, bringing the hands together this time. Upward salute. And hands back to center. And again, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Halfway up and fold. All the way up. Upward salute. And exhale, center. Again, up, fold. Halfway and fold. All the way up. Upward salute. And back to center. Beautiful. Very nice. We're going to move into extended side angle pose. So coming toward the back of your mat, take a step forward as you would for warrior two. Turn your body to the side. And we're going to lunge into the right leg. Knee directly above the ankle. And I want you to bring the elbow down to that knee, forming a long line with your body. And then on an inhale, bring that left arm up overhead. You want to be pressing equally down into both feet, lengthening the spine, right? That top ribbon on the top of the head, pulling you. One long line. Do what you can. Reaching through the fingertips, reaching down through the feet, opening up the side, the front of the chest as much as you can. Good. And on an exhale, coming back up, you're going to adjust that right foot and open up the left foot and lunge into that opposite side. Find the lunge, line the knee and the ankle, bring the elbow down, and then bring that arm overhead. Again, reaching through the fingertips, pressing both feet down into the floor. Feel all four corners of both feet. Good. And inhale back to center. Keeping the feet wide apart, we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. You want your feet slightly pigeon-toed here, so toes are closer than the heels. Bring the hands to the waist, and we're going to bend at the waist. Coming into a fold, and then find a place for your hands to rest. They can rest on your legs. If you come all the way down to the floor, you can rest your hands on the floor. This is a great pose to have a yoga block for. If you don't come down very far, you can turn the block on its vertical side and hold on the block. See my imaginary block. We're going to hold this for a bit. So just wherever you are, chair, mat, whatever, just come into a forward fold, and we're going to hold it and breathe deeply, trying to relax more into it on each exhale. And grab opposite elbows if that feels good. And sort of gently shift your weight back and forth for a version of ragdoll. I like to shake my head, yes and no, try to release some of the tension in my neck. Our heads are so heavy. All right, when you're ready, we are going to make our way down onto the mat. However you want to do that. I like to heel toe my feet together and then come into forward fold and come down. Whatever feels good to you today. To come into a reclined position. On your seat, right? And then coming down onto your back. And bringing the knees in and hugging them in tight. We're heading towards Shavasana, everybody's favorite and the most important healing pose of all, in my opinion. So hug the knees in. You can rock if that feels good. Still staying with those deep belly breaths. And then release the knees and bring the feet as wide apart as the mat and the arms out in a T. I want you to drop the knees to the left and right in a windshield wiper motion. So exhale, drop them to the left. Inhale, drop them to the right. Inhale, center, drop them to the left. You want to look to the opposite hand of where your knees are going. So as you drop them to the left, look to the right. And so on. Good. Next time you come back to center, I want you to straighten the legs out. We're going to take a reclined twist. Final motion for our spine. Bringing the arms out in a T. Rock your hips a little bit and your shoulders. Make sure you're in alignment here. And then bring that right toe to the left knee. Grab that left knee with the right knee with the left hand. And gently pull that knee across the body, twisting and looking towards your right hand. Keep both shoulders on the mat. Take 2 more breaths. Slow and deep. And then release that knee. Come back to center. Straighten it out. And again, adjust the hips and the shoulders so you are fully in alignment. Open the arms out in the T. Bring the left toe to the right knee. And then take that left knee, cross, looking to the left hand. And then release the twist. Maybe hug those knees in one last time. And I want you to take one hand, one palm to each knee, and take a couple of big circles with the knees, just massaging that low back and sacral area. A couple of circles in each direction. And then make your way to your most comfortable position for Shavasana. Find that supremely restful pose. And I'm going to talk you into a more relaxed state and then hold space while you rest and heal. Just allow yourself to sink into your mat. No need to pay attention to the breath any longer. Just let it rise and fall in its own natural rhythm. Maybe following the breath as it moves in and out. Follow its path through your body, or just notice where it comes in and out through the nose. Allow yourself to relax from head to toe. Relaxing the feet and the legs, letting them be heavy and soft. Relaxing the hips and the torso. Know that all of your organs are functioning perfectly, exactly as they're meant to. Relax the shoulders. Allow them to melt like ice to water. Along with the arms, the hands, the fingers. Relax the neck and head. Soften the jaw. Soften the eyes. Soften that area between the eyes. Relax all the tiny muscles in the face and on the scalp. Thoughts come up, just notice them without judgment. Let them drift by. Lovingly bring yourself back to this present, healing, restful moment. you are ready to come back from this deeply relaxed state, I want you to take your time transitioning so that you may hold on to this feeling of stillness and peace, this relaxation of the nervous system that comes through yoga practice and shavasana. You may want to stay in a reclined position, or you may return to seated for closing. I'm honored to be sharing these practices with all of you all. I hope this class was the medicine you needed today. Grateful that you are here. And we close, as always, saying, the divine light within me recognizes and honors the divine light within each of you. Namaste.